We're Journals Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of wise and wonderful young people. Young people!
That's
Give it up for yourselves. So that was excellent. So usually, you know, Matt's in the studio with the song and everything, and Justin was just like, that's enough of that song. So here's the show. We've got Jilly, we've got Josh doing his hair.
I had to take a hat off.
Oh my god.
His bangs are really.
I don't know if I've ever heard that much
so
aggression
extra.
in Josh's voice.
Oh yeah.
What he just said in the mic.
Oh no, when it's about his bangs, yeah.
It was I was
So we've got Ryan, we've got
here.
Tara, and we have what's your name? Sean. Yes. And so
What's my name?
well, you were behind like the tripod.
What's my name?
And KatieMichal is on Instagram Live. She's hosting us Instagram Live. Like we have a show within a show within a show. It's like an inception of shows, right, Ryan?
It was like Vlogception.
Yeah. So we were at Vid. Oh,
That's a reference.
we have poets, and they're spoken word poets, and they're going to be speaking their spoken words in just a moment. But we went to VidCon, so we have some stuff to report. We just have some business to attend to. We were at VidCon, and like I was so excited because I was not the only person walking around with a camera on top of a gorilla pod. I was surrounded by these people.
We had a pod party.
I was among my people. I found my people. Yes, we had pod parties, and I was vlogging vloggers. It was
Great.
Whoa.
yeah. Right. So you can see the results of some of this on the YouTube if you go to our YouTube channel, which hopefully you're on. If you're on Instagram, go to our YouTube channel. When you're done, because post you've ever seen on Instagram Live, it's going to be so fantabulous. We're going to put hashtags, and then hashtag GorillaPod, hashtag vloggers. Okay.
Can you hashtag a hashtag with the actual hashtag?
No.
We should try
You
it.
can't.
Oh, wow.
You can't.
Hashtag.
It's very decorative. And so we went to VidCon. So my group, and there were several groups at VidCon because VidCon, explain it, Sean, because...
VidCon is just a bunch of people that all love to make videos and make media and put it on the internet, and they get together in one large convention and just make more content, basically.
It started out as YouTuber convention pretty much, but as Vine,
It's Vine
became a
now.
thing.
Musically's there.
Then, you
Live
know,
Me's there.
it became an internet media forum.
Right. So it was all happening at Anaheim Convention Center. So my groups, we went down on Thursday with Jilly and Ryan, and we had some fun. And there was, Ryan, what did we see that Jilly just kind of really challenged you to do? And being a man, you had to say yes.
So yeah, we saw the American Ninja Warrior wall.
Was that all me? Did I make you?
Oh, yeah.
So we it was a little bit of me and a little bit of you.
No, you said I could.
Well,
I
here's
do
what
that.
happened. Here's
I
what
could
happened.
do it all the time. I said, fine.
I said, you know what? I think I could probably do that. Like, it doesn't look very hard. And Jilly was like, fine, I bet you will. And I was like, you know what? I bet I will. So I got in line. I signed some random kid's waiver form that I was his father because you have to like have someone sign off. But I didn't want to be liable, so I signed my name wrong.
Missed that part.
And, like,
she saw that happen.
I didn't realize that somebody was like parentalizing you. I'm very sorry. That must have been traumatic.
Oh, no.
He parentalized somebody else.
No,
He was
no.
liable for somebody else.
Yeah, someone parentalized me. They made me their parent.
But
I
you sound like John
Oh.
Smith.
So I signed Ryan Taub. Just I put a U
Taub.
instead of another
Oh,
B.
sneaky.
And then I didn't sign my real signature. So like if it ever went to a court of law, I'd be like, nah, fam.
But you signed your own waiver that just said,
Yeah,
like,
but now you
if
just
I...
said-
If I
did
die,
that.
it's on me.
Yeah.
And then I actually made him sign as my father.
But you
so.
also now just said on live air that you did do that. So.
But I also.
Oh.
but-
So if they
but
go to
he-
court
but he
now,
didn't
you
get
got the
injured.
video.
He didn't get injured.
Right. Plausible deniability is that there's, other people maybe with the name that he signed.
But
that could
was
have been
okay.
also
He
signed.
we
was
have footage
okay.
of
It
him
was
not
okay.
getting
So
injured.
cut
as
to the
long as I got
videotape,
past that.
Justin. This is right. Well, first it's a bunch of people failing, and I love them. They're
Including my
adorable.
father
Yeah, your dad. Yeah.
and my son at the same time.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, do we have that, Justin? All right. That was
Yeah,
Jilly.
see, you hear Jilly say it in the background. All right, so we've gotten to the bottom of that. There's my son in the beanie.
He is a handsome boy.
No.
Was that you?
No, that's him in the beanie. I said
The red
he
beanie?
had YouTuber hair because YouTubers are always playing with their bangs.
That's him. That's him again. My son is a disappointment, an embarrassment
But
to
you
my
know what?
family.
He's in training. It's spring training, and we're gonna. It's a year.
Very impressed
Ryan, it's
at
a year
all.
of rebuilding.
So I just needed to get some advice. I needed to get a feel for it. I wasn't just going to run into this
Yeah,
Ryan.
like a brick
Like
wall.
talking
you
to
know?
the guy, I'm like, does he get like a tutorial? I'm like, that's not fair.
I was just
Here
like,
he goes, here he goes, here he goes.
and then I was just like, I just embraced my inner ninja warrior,
Yeah.
American.
Bam, there you go. You got that grip on the top.
Exactly. And yeah, it was easier than I expected. Well, no, I was overly confident going into it, so it was harder than I expected because I thought it'd be a breeze, and I actually had to like move
I'm
my
sorry.
legs at
I
least a little
asked you
bit.
after if you were nervous, and you said yes.
I was nervous because there were
Okay,
people
I'm
watching.
just clarifying.
Everyone's all
So
like,
this was even more nerve wracking. We went into the photo booth and like I was terrified because it's like, what do you wear? You know, like our boa's too much.
Oh yeah,
you know.
I chose a flower crown. I got judged hardcore, so
Well,
I
it's like
switched it up.
it was just like, oh, what are you going back to Coachella?
Yeah, he was like,
Like-
you can't do that. That's your normal day attire. You have to choose something else.
I was like, yeah, go back to Coachella.
So I had like the sunglasses, smiley
a bitch,
face.
though.
It's like,
You
you know, you
forgot.
can
I
dress
have
it up.
that pillow at
You
home.
can dress it up. You can
So
dress
I-
it down.
I go with-
And there we are. So it's like, did someone just ring my doorbell? Maybe it's more pizza. Well,
ding dong.
all right. So you can pod that down, Justin. You that was fantastic. So that's a little taste. And if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see more of it. And Tara did some amazing video blogging. Tell us about your VidCon experience.
Okay, so my VidCon experience was with Sean and Sean's mom. Yeah, they
Your
both
mom.
came.
Your second mom.
What?
I said, you leave my mom out of this.
Oh yeah, Ryan, go away.
Did Tara leave his mom out of this?
Ryan, shh. So anyways, so we went to VidCon. We met the dapper rapper. He was really cool. He flirted with me with his beard. It was fun. Then we ran into some of your friends. We met, what was it? J. James HQ.
I ate JJ Fish.
No,
All right, so
no.
where can so JoJo, come on in because we can't have sub convos in the hallway. It's very distracting.
JoJo. She's
We
already
love
not
you, JoJo.
paying
Sit here for
attention.
now, and then we'll get you situated. And so Tara, where can people find your blog?
I got egged and got a free fidget spinner.
Oh, it's all in the video too. Her video is
Do you
fantastic.
Yeah,
not
you
bring
should
the
check out her-
fidget spinner so she can see it? 'Cause she
Oh, you
can't-
stole it.
Dude,
I
I've been
stole
asking
it back again.
week
He
in and
stole
week
it
out.
when
I
he came
asked
over
for
and then
fidget
I took
spinners.
it back. No, it's my fidget spinner now.
I want one of my own.
Well,
I'm gonna.
you can
I'm
go
sorry.
get one.
I'm failing miserably at the
Get her a
fidget spinner.
Journals Out Loud.
Oh my
fidget
god,
spinner.
if we
Fidget
can have
spinner.
journals out loud spinners, like fidget spinners, that would like make my whole entire life.
Tara, where can
complete.
people
Talk to
find
your
your video vlog?
Well, you can find it on my channel, but like it's gotta be done uploading, so it'll be done uploading like tonight sometime. So
Yeah.
just
Is it
keep
gonna be on
checking
the
back
Journals channel as
periodically. Maybe.
Let's
Yeah,
do that.
we'll
Okay.
We'll get it up there.
Let's talk after.
We'll
the
get it
show.
up there. All right. So now I'm really excited to introduce the young people from
Get lit.
Get Lit. I was going to say like Journals Kid Lit or something, but that wouldn't have been the correct title. So it's Get Lit, and you can go to getlit.org. That's hard to say that, isn't it?
No.
Getlit.org.
Getlit.org.
'Cause there's the two
Getlit.org,
T's in a row.
Getlit.org.
So what you guys do, so can you please, Hannah, please step over to the microphone. And so this is Hannah. And where can people find you online? And tell us a little bit about where people can find more of your work.
Well, I have my own YouTube
Really close to the
channel.
microphone.
Oh, I have my own YouTube channel. If you just type in Hanna Harris, there's no H at the end, so not Hannah Montana. If you type in Hanna Harris, I've got my own channel that has a collection of some of my videos. I've also been published in a couple journals. So if you Google Hanna Harris poetry, I'm in a journal called Melancholy Hyperbole, and I'm also in a journal called Blue Pepper Magazine. So you can find some of my work there. And I'm also on social media. Just Get Lit's always blasting out shows that we're doing. If you want to see me live.
Fantastic. So when did you get involved with Get Lit, and what do you love about it?
I got involved with Get Lit about 2 years ago, and it's become my home. You know, a lot of kids say it's my second home. It's my first home. It's my home. I love everybody. I love that it's a family, and I think that it's inherent to poetry being so confessional that everyone is super close, super supportive, and no matter where you are in your journey as a writer and as a person, they're gonna help you do what you want to do and become who you want to be.
That's wonderful. Well spoken word. So tell us a little bit about the poem that you're going to perform for us.
The poem I'm going to perform for you is called 2016. I wrote it at the very end of the year on New Year's Day, actually, because it was inspired by a conversation that I had with my family, and I said 2016 was like a hand puppet in the garbage disposal, and that conversation inspired me because it was such a wild year. Everything increased. The death toll in the United States increased. Suicide rates increased. It seemed like celebrities were dropping dead left and right. Like, it just seemed like some kind of weird cosmic thing was going on, right? So I was like, I want to speak on this, and I personally experienced a lot of loss during the year, and so I was just fired up about that conversation, and I just started listening more and more and more things, and out of it came a poem, which it often when I get fired up, out of it comes a poem.
All right, please share it with us.
All right. 2016 was messed up. 2016 was like a hand puppet in the garbage disposal. 2016 slid into my ear all slimy-like and gave me a year-long wet willy from the inside out. 2016 clawed me into ribbons of supermarket ground beef and a general sense of aching. 2016 took my skin off, turned it inside out, and put it back on me like a weird, painful wetsuit. 2016 slid an old meat hook under each of my collarbones and strung me up in its living room like Christmas lights, and then it just held me there like stagnant and begging. 2016, under the guise of some hungry god, all unhinged jaws, all take and slobber and ravage, filled up to its watering eyeballs and what's ours. 2016, warpath rising from trembling earth. 2016, biting off the tips of mountains like ice cream cones and sucking us all out, crimson cream running down its wrists like that god's blood rivers. 2016 was some cosmic crossover, some bellowing beast of compressed time. Some long-forgotten witch, scorned, adorned in tokens of pieces of our world lost. My dad's suicide note, dangling from her earlobes, necklace strung from the tears shed at my best friend's funeral, brooch carved from my grandmother's tombstone, baby teeth clipped into her mossy hair. This swamp woman, just cackling and glowing, perched silent at the edge of all of our houses, like hell hath no fury, like recent rise in death toll surprises experts. Like New Year's Day rain expected to wash away the wreckage. Like, maybe I don't have anything left to wash away. Thank you.
Wow. That was...
Powerful.
Come have a seat. That was wonderful. We're going to have some questions for you after your friends have performed. Let's get Marcus up there.
Hey y'all, I'm a lot shorter than Hannah. It's all good.
So how did you get involved in Get Lit?
So I had a little bit of an easier route.
Mm-hmm.
Get Lit actually came to my high school. I went to El Rancho High School. Shout out El Rancho. So they came to my high school when I was a junior, and they brought their curriculum, which was to choose a classic poem that they had in an anthology. And a classic poem is really a poem written by anybody ranging from Shakespeare to Shel Silverstein to Kendrick Lamar. We had some stuff by Tupac. So you choose a classic, you memorize it, you learn everything you can about the author, and then you respond to it by writing your own poem. So that's how I got involved, and so that was my junior year, and I'm a sophomore in college now. So
wow.
I've been involved for a while.
What did you respond to? Which poem, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, I responded to Memorial by Francisco Alarcón.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
That's really great. What are you going to perform for us?
So today I'm going to perform a poem called Chunky Boy. It's a poem that I wrote after also having a conversation. I had a conversation with my mom, and we were just talking about how when I grew up, you know, every time they called me chunky, it was never like, oh, you're chunky, you're so big, you got to lose weight. It was always like a term of endearment. And so I also noticed that, like, a lot of people are writing poems about body image, but I don't hear a lot of guys writing poems about body image. And, you know, it's totally okay to be a chunky guy. So, yeah, that's it.
Let's hear it.
All right. Chunky boy knows how to consume goodness. Knows gordo is another word for love. Tastes every morning like his last meal. Eats his last meal with swagger. Knows how to eat for one, or two, or three, or sometimes four. Knows that when his plate is full of pupusas, he's eating with his ancestors. Buff dude, he takes some protein. That's easy. Give him some steak and eggs and he's built. But chunky boy, he knows how to consume goodness. Fill me with the sun. Let it sit in my stomach until I burst and all the best parts of me shine through. The days when Pozola was the savior, when Chile Verde ran through my veins, and I swear I knew what God tasted like. Watch me bleed out the mole my mother never learned how to make. So we went to restaurants, pretended the chefs were our grandmothers, and this table was our home. Chunky boy doesn't understand portions. But he knows that 2 rolls of sushi cannot be enough. My body's never been my temple. No sign of the cross, no washing your feet before entrance. Instead, it's only ever been a ghetto. Broken glass and boarded up windows for an entrance, but I never stopped loving it. Never stopped bringing out the broom and the dustpan to face the wreckage. There is honesty in loving something that's been broken before. A trial and error process that makes me wonder if this body is all I will ever know. And if it is, that's okay. Chunky boy knows his gut shows there's so much of him to be given. Chunky boy tried to lose the weight. Found himself on the scale more times than his bed. Found his vomit on the floor, a trophy he never wanted to put on display. The weight never left. A reminder to keep more of yourself than you give away. So watch me expand to fit the room. Watch me eat. Thank y'all.
Yeah. That was excellent. Let's get JoJo up here. JoJo,
Hey, guys.
welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us how you got involved. Do we need to adjust the mic a little bit? Good job, Marcus.
I love that. That put a smile on my face the whole way through.
Yeah.
That was the goal.
Well, mission accomplished.
Nice.
JoJo, tell us about your journey. How did you get involved in Get Lit?
So I got involved in Get Lit by pretty much by word of mouth. I used to live in Rochester, New York, and I was on a poetry team over there. And once I got to the Brave New Voices competition, which is like the national youth competition that they have annually, I heard about Get Lit, and I knew that their team was really, really awesome. So after I graduated high school and I moved to Los Angeles, I was like, poetry. I should keep doing this.
Yes.
And I auditioned to be a Get Lit player, and it ended up being one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Wonderful. All right. What
Shout
are you
out
going to...
upstate New York, though.
Upstate. Yeah, I'm from
yeah.
Buffalo, and he goes to Syracuse.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yes. So what are you going to perform for us?
So I'm going to perform this poem called Elephant Poem. And pretty much it's about my experience growing up in a suburban area and being one of the very few black families there. And pretty much just my experience through that and the emotions that were evoked when it came to feeling like I took up too much space or I was too different.
Okay.
Fact. Weighing up to 6.6 tons and measuring up to 10 feet tall, Loxodonta africana is the world's largest land mammal. It is characterized by its highly dexterous trunk, large curved tusks, and eye-grabbing features. I was once told that I shouldn't be afraid to take up space. I am now the elephant in the room. Oftentimes, my white tongue was confused for a protruding tusk, and in the seashell subtles of suburbia, all I ever wanted was to tread lightly, but elephants don't. I'm an elephant. White tongue, white tusk, black market sellout, bougie, they say jokingly. But as you might assume, there are parts of me that just don't fit. To be the elephant in the room is to be epic tails and broken backs, that limb-snapping thunder of the savannah, a breath of powder and wind through open ear holes waiting. To give that lioness her well-deserved pimp smack, rough up the desert like you could get your land cracked. To be the elephant in the room is to play Dumbo. Like I ain't got no real thoughts, no, I play pretend. To act like these colossal extremities don't rub up against whisper. To act like these colossal extremities do not rub up against whisper while making believe that neighbors' gossip doesn't drip from my trunk at the water hole while hearing all of these fabrications, manipulations, incantations while performing in the Caucasian circus. I heard that white magic be the darkest kind, have me in a state of endangerment. I heard they call it knowing how easily they can erase you and seeing how they already are. The memory of bloodstains that are red and veined faces that are blue. The elephant in the room is something like a Freddie Gray. A hushed, suffocated tone stuck between a rock and a dark face, a hard place, whispering to yourself it's not about race. To be too complicated black. Complicated like my parents' mother country is the long lost cousin of an earthquake. Complicated like compa and soup jumu, me having to prove that to you? News. The elephant in the room gives birth to all the stillborn smiles. Crescent spread lip over tusk. The same face is made at me when I walk off the sidewalk so that they don't have to while serving at the diner. I'm afraid I'm too big. They grab their purses, grab their children, snatch that tip money that is not yours. Ivory is expensive. To be the elephant in the room is to pluck and poach your novelty. Give them the parts of you that they covet, but never the whole, because that's probably too much. It's a burden to let such small things take, convince you that you're taking up too much space, but maybe I'll stop walking on all fours and start breaking floorboards, dispelling my reality in a voice that sounds like the boom snap clap of kingdoms, a Babylon times 5, a trumpet and a thump firmly planted in the mind. To be the elephant in the room is to realize that this poem is far smaller than I am, and that all this disrespect and disregard is such a funny way to treat something that can crush you.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was real.
That was spectacular. Wow.
Great job, man.
All right, panel, questions for our poets.
Ooh, can you get a deep breath first?
Yes, yes. Maybe some snapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've definitely got a few questions though. I think as it pertains to and this is open to anyone who wants to answer it, but we get a lot of questions. People ask whether or not they should give something new a try, whether or not they should go for it, and for fear of being embarrassed and doing poorly. What do you think allowed you guys to give slam poetry a try and to give spoken word a try and let it become such an important part of your life?
I'll adjust that real. Did I just grab it?
Yeah, go for it. Move it around.
I'm gonna grab it because I do that.
All right.
This is my space now. No.
He's a poet.
No. So my favorite story to tell, because we coach a lot of kids who are like, I don't want anything to do with this. The first open mic I ever went to, I was 13 years old. I went there. I pulled on the mic too hard and I destroyed their amplifier. So that was my first experience with slam poetry. But I went back the next month and I kept going back. And I think as far as like poetry is concerned, poetry is one of the rare communities where everybody's like really loving, just surprisingly loving a lot of the time. And, you're out here writing about your feelings. You're writing about things that, a lot of people feel but aren't necessarily super prone to talk about. So, of course, you're going to have like a supportive, net group. So I guess as far as like dipping your feet into poetry, just knowing that there's a community who's willing to like accept you and willing to work with you constantly, that's definitely what got me into like wanting to continue writing.
So there's something about sort of like the vulnerability being equal.
Yes.
That's just like complete inclusion, because it's like, if I'm going to be raw, I better treat you gently while you're raw.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And for me getting into poetry, it was the first time I performed something I had to for class, and I threw up. So no one was born like this. It takes practice for everyone. But as soon as I started doing it, I was like, this is what I have to do. Not only am I obligated to do it, but I think like I will explode if I don't do this.
Wow.
It's a passion that I think like people don't discover until they try it. I think that's something unique to something that involves public speaking. And if you do write poetry already, or just like journal, which is probably poetry and you don't know, I really encourage you to try spoken word, just because something happens to you emotionally and to the poem from a literary sense when you wear it. Something happens every time you perform it. We have the rare opportunity as working professional poets to sometimes perform a poem 40, 50 times. And every time you learn something new about yourself, about your audience, about the poem itself. And so like, please do it.
Yeah,
awesome.
and if I could comment on that,
Yeah,
I also
sure.
think that like your poems become like this new narrative. Like I've had poems that like have changed and transformed into something that I've been trying to say for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's something about that is very introspective and helps you become a better version of you. So I feel like when it comes to poetry, y'all should definitely try it. That's just me saying it.
Any questions about some of the specific work that we heard tonight?
I mean, I don't have a question. I just think it was all like awesome, like seriously amazing. Sorry, this is like a weird angle. I'm like,
I honestly was speechless. Like, I don't even know what to say, but just like, great job on that. And I wish I could do what you guys do.
I think you can.
Okay, but like, I'm not right now, so that's awesome that you guys are.
I do have a question about the process. I love writing, but not in a very creative sense. So I've never tried my hand at writing music or poetry or anything in that regard. What goes into the process of taking a thought, like a conversation with your family, and making it into a performance? I know that's a very broad question, but there's a lot that goes on, I assume.
Nice. As far as conversations are concerned, a lot of times the first lines of my poems are like the end part of the conversation. So I had a conversation with a family member one time, and the last thing he said was, "So Marcus, I heard you want to be a man." And that, yeah. That's the poem. And that's the poem. So a lot of times it's just like taking... you kind of want to be careful talking to poets. Because a lot of lines that they'll write are things that like they've discussed with other people. And then you just build. You have one starting line, and then you just continue to build. And it's fun. I enjoy it.
And do you know where the poem is going when you started? Or
no.
It just takes you?
I mean, Yeah, you want to
you
comment
never
on
know
that?
on whether or not I know where the poem's going. No. No, I think that when you start with something, everyone's inspired by something different. I'm often inspired by conversations just because I'm inspired by people. But inspiration for me kind of starts, I've always talked about it as like you're a sculptor, right? And your conversation is just this huge chunk of marble that you have, and it's kind of carving out what's already there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know that is also like a lofty metaphor, but it's really about just what moves you. Metaphor, key term.
Yes. I want to specifically ask you about the metaphors, because the imagery and the metaphors are they're thick, and I wanted to know if, like, once you decide to embrace a metaphor like elephant, do you find yourself surprised by what else you can pull out of that metaphor?
Oh
Yeah.
You guys gotta talk to these two about that.
I mean,
You too,
for me, I
Chunky.
love facts, so that's why I started off with a fact in that poem. And I feel like there are so many connections we can make between our own experiences and the items and organisms around us that we don't normally see. So it's just a matter of taking the time to look at things in a different way. And like Hannah said, like taking something that you don't see and really like carving out something new, carving out what you feel it could be or what it wants you to be.
And when you find all these connections and all these similes, do you look at the world differently?
Oh my gosh. Poetry is given to us all the time. It's just about seeing it. Like my friend the other day, she was like, my dad got me a silent violin as my graduation present. And I was like, your life is a poem.
Whoa.
Like it's all around us all the time. And it's just kind of about like, it's the way that we experience the world is so dense and it's so overwhelming. And it's just about unspooling things. And that's exactly what it feels like when you find a metaphor like that. It's like you just keep pulling at it and going deeper into yourself and into what you can do literally with it. And it's so joyful. Like I will sit on my couch writing and just like scream when I think of something.
Aww.
Not a joke. I've definitely been there when that's happened.
All right. Well, since you guys are so full of wisdom, do you want to help us help other kids and other people?
Yes.
All right. Cool. Jilly, would you read the question that you selected as question number 1? Because these were.
We had to prioritize a bit.
Yeah,
just with
we
the
did based on
shortened
like you
format.
guys and in some of the work that you were going to be performing tonight. We
Yes.
prioritized.
All right. This question is, I think I'm actually ugly. I'm overweight. I have acne and bad teeth. I see pictures of myself and I want to throw up. My friends say I look cute, but I really don't. I've seen overweight people with acne and bad teeth looking beautiful, but why can't I? So
Take a breath.
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I think for me, I've heard a lot of people say, learn to love your imperfections. And I've never been able to do that, but I have been able to focus on other things. And so for me personally, I think everyone, has something that they're insecure about, if not many things they're insecure about. Being able to focus on the things you are confident in will allow you to take some of your focus off that. But if someone has experience with actually learning to love their flaws, they could probably be a little bit more helpful than me.
I mean, I think one of the things you have to try and do, as much as like it's hard, is like you kind of have to try and change the way you think about yourself, because I think a lot of the time like you are who you say you are, and if you think negatively about yourself, you start to believe it. And if you try and just accept who you are and love yourself, and even if in the beginning like you are like, this is really stupid and I don't believe myself, but if you really just try and be like, no, I do look beautiful, and like you try and really kind of give yourself affirmations, like I think that it does kind of change the way you think about yourself in the long run. Like I think a lot of the time, especially girls and guys, are really hard on themselves, but I also think like you're way harder on yourself than you are on other people, and that's evident like in this question too. Like I think you notice every little thing about yourself, and other people are like, wait, what? Like I'll be like, oh my God, you see like this huge pimple on my face, and people be like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even see anything until you said something. So I think like it's also about also understanding like everybody has stuff that they don't like about themselves, like you said, and you just can't be that hard on yourself.
Yeah, I think so much of it too is that you're going through an awkward age, and there's just really, we have to like sort of give credit to that you are passing through an awkward period, and you're not how you're going to look for like you're going to spend most of your adult life looking pretty much the same. I mean, the hairstyles and the clothing will change, but you're not at that point yet. Like, and so I don't know what God's cruelty with acne and in the middle of the most insecure years of your life, that like how like is that funny to God? I mean, I don't even like, that's just, please, like, what are you, what, I guess you're toughening us up, you know, for the road, you know, like, all right, you're gonna you need some armor and like work on that personality, because you may not always be cute.
It's like Happy Feet, you know, when he's born, he's awkward but cute. Then he starts to lose his baby feathers, right? Yeah, and he's halfway between an adult penguin and a baby penguin, and he just looks weird, and he tap dances and can't sing, and no one likes him. But then he comes out as this beautiful, you know, was still penguin, but tap dancing penguin.
Yeah, we can't unpenguin you. We're sorry. but yeah, and really for you to know that like. Who you are is not how you look, and that's a tough thing in our society, because we're so focused on what people look like, but that's never, I think that's the big challenge of life, is like, how do you push past all the things that seem like they matter but actually don't? And
it's like
that's
this little bit, like this much.
How did we get started on that?
And that's what I kind of
like
love so much
ago?
about poetry, or the kind of poetry that you guys perform, is like, you know, the task is go deep right now, like forget everything superficial, let's go there. And that's an immediate dive into things that matter. And that's incredible, like that you found the pathway.
I think it's hard because we all seek out external validation, of course, and that's a really difficult part of life. But it's also easier to dismiss external validation. You can say they're just grumpy, they just hate me, she's just a jerk, whatever. But when you're talking about like true self-love, that's a really hard thing to do. And I think it's just about learning self-compassion. And like you guys were saying, to a certain extent, it's a cultural thing that we are encouraged to not be compassionate towards ourselves. We are encouraged to not treat ourselves the way that we would treat our best friends. But you are your best friend. You're the only one that you have. And so I think that it's almost just about manifestation of that compassion. You know, if you, it's just be compassionate. You know, you're never gonna look at your acne and not see it. But it's about treating it with the type of forgiveness that you would treat your best friend's acne or your mom's acne or someone who you care deeply about. And it's just learning to care deeply.
My best friend's acne is the bomb. It's so good.
I believe you.
I'm so jealous.
Listen to the conviction.
It's like, she is the best acne. I'm sorry. I'm just so jealous. But Josh, would you read the question that begins with my girlfriend?
You always give me this kind of questions.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
I like to give the boys girl questions. So. Oh, no. This is a boy question.
Yeah,
okay, good.
Wait, what? Number 2 is
my girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay. My girlfriend cheated on me 6 months ago, so there is a lot of trust that needs to be built back. She has 200 plus guys on her Instagram and Facebook. I asked her to clean it up, and she basically left all of them to follow her still. She even admitted she had been talking to a guy that she liked, and she still follows him. I'm sick of worrying and don't enjoy seeing comments on all of her pictures from random guys. Am I out of line, or is she?
Just break up with her.
First of all, I read the question, so I get the right away. So you're not out of line for how you're feeling, because feelings are natural, but at the same time, both of you are just not meant for each other, like Tara was saying. Right now, at the end of the day, the cheating on you is not something that it can be worked through, and it takes a specific kind of forgiveness to be able to do that. And right now what you're talking about, trust needs to be built back. I don't agree with that, because at the end of the day, there is no such thing as like trust needing to be built back. Right there, that automatically sets you like you're the victim. She needs to give you something. It just sets up an inequality in the relationship that now she and you both know that she owes you something. So at the end of the day, it's not going to work out if you have that mentality. In my opinion, you need to either just let it go or fully forgive her right now.
Wow.
No, I know what he's going to say because he had an issue, but it was fun.
No.
I did it already. Look at this.
What?
It's just this whole. Go ahead.
No. I think that there's a certain truth to what you said. I think that applies. At least for me, having this knowledge of the situation, I really, I know there's a lot of stuff that's bothering you that to me is less important and less indicative than the fact that she's talking to a guy who she likes and you guys are still together, and she hasn't made an effort to change something that you obviously aren't comfortable with. I don't see it as an inequality. I think a relationship is a fluid thing, and it's important for both sides to make each other feel comfortable. The expectation is that that's going to happen, and she hasn't been doing that. Now, whether you're a victim or not, then it's up to you to just, that doesn't matter to me. What you have to decide is, you said you're sick of it. So obviously she's not trying to change, and you're sick of it. Whether or not you're meant for each other, or whether or not there's trust that needs to be built back up, to me that sounds like you want out of a relationship because the only thing that can be fixed, she's not willing to fix. That's where I see the situation. I don't think you're out of line. Actually, I think she is out of line to be in a relationship and telling her boyfriend that she's into another person and talking to them. That's out of line, if you ask me, but everyone has different standards,
It's
I
honesty.
guess. It's honesty, but it's out of line to be doing it. Her honesty's not out of line. Her
Communication.
actions are out of line.
I think communication is like a big part of it. One thing I've learned through poetry is that a lot of the work of poetry happens after the actual poem is done. It happens when we have a dialogue about something, about the topic, about the issue, and we're able to actually communicate our ideas and experiences and try and justify why we feel a certain way about a certain thing. So I feel like in that situation, sitting down and talking to the person, I feel is the best way to go about things.
I just want to comment on the idea about building back trust. I feel like trust needs to be built back on both ends, just because I mean, I definitely am not a fan of the idea of like him saying you need to delete all of these guys.
Right.
That's a lot. That's insecurity. And insecurity doesn't work very well in a relationship for the person that is insecure and for the person that's like dating the other person. And so I think a big part of it is just this idea that trust needs to be built back on both ends. And if he wants to continue the relationship, they got to start on a clean slate. Which is super hard to do. I very much understand that.
Borderline impossible to wipe, because you have memories. That's,
Yeah.
It's not like you can just forget it, but in a perfect world, yeah.
I think
agree.
both of the actions by both parties are immature, and you guys need to learn from that. And obviously, like Josh was saying, you're not meant to be together. And I think like even asking if you're in line or out of line, like you're just acting immature.
Well, I just to the you're not meant to be together thing. Maybe you aren't, maybe you are. The point I'm making is I think that this is 3 sentences. I don't want to make anything total grand judgments about your relationship, but from these 3 sentences, at least right now, it doesn't seem to be a great choice to stay together. But to say, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because how are you in a relationship if you don't trust someone at all? You
Right,
can't build it. Like
Yes.
it just
you can't
doesn't.
build, but I think you can
Go
build
in.
You
trust.
can you can't build it when it's broken. Like it's just completely broken, and you're already just saying
Well,
I don't like
so
this,
I
and
think-
I don't like that, and I don't like this, and I don't like that. So just end it.
Right, no, I agree with you. That's the smart choice. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is I think that's not because the trust is broken. It's because one side doesn't want to put in the effort to rebuild
It's
that
both
trust.
sides kind of don't want to build in the other because he's not trusting that person. He's not even trying to like understand the girl. The girl's not trying to understand him. It's just like both
I
parties.
have
just,
very
like,
low tolerance
not-
for cheating, so I don't know what there is to understand. If she's like involved with other people, there's nothing to understand.
Also, how old are y'all? Like,
Oh yeah,
you-
we
no,
have that a lot. We don't
yeah,
really always know.
So I'm like,
How old do you think we are?
no. People.
Oh, it's
So
Tara.
like,
Leave it
there's
to her.
like a big world out there. It's totally fine. Like,
Yeah. So I mean, if
Well-
they don't say their age, I usually just say. Sometimes they say assume they're 12, based on what they're
I
saying.
want to say, can we
and then-
bring that up to at
But in
least
this
like
case, I'm
13,
saying I'm going to say
14 now?
assume they're
16.
16 because I can basically read a question
Yeah.
and guess the age
They're
of
16, I
the
think.
people. So
Around
But-
that age, because they
but
that happened
before-
6 months ago.
let me just say this before we move on. I do agree that both sides there's maybe like there's room to share the blame here, but like it feels like possibly he was like controlling in the first place.
Yes.
Wanting to
Yes,
know
ma'am.
exactly who she's following or who's following her or
Exactly.
whatever. And so like within a relationship, like within the maybe first 2 or 3 weeks, I think you guys can establish like what's going to feel okay. And a lot like, towards what Ryan was saying is like, you have to manage expectations. Like once you're dating someone, certain things do change. Like you don't like say you're so cute to every guy on Instagram, like once you're in a relationship, right? So,
Unless y'all are down with that, and there's
but I
communication
don't
about
like,
that.
seriously, Hannah, who is honestly?
Me.
You're okay with dating someone who's going to be like flirting with other people online, honestly?
Yeah, I'm actually in an open relationship.
Okay.
Oh, but see, that's the difference.
Here
though.
learn-
It's called an open relationship. They're in like a
No, and I
non-open
understand,
relationship.
She's saying communicate
so-
that though.
Yeah.
That's the communication.
Yeah.
Honesty,
If you're
trust, and
chill
my
with an
only-
open.
And really, my only comment about like the blank slate and about all of that is the blank slate and about all of that is that you're not entitled to anything in a relationship. Like you're not entitled to go through her Instagram messages, which you clearly are because you know who she's messaging and how much she's messaging them, and you're not entitled to go through her followers, and you're also not entitled I don't know.
To tell her what to do in your life. You decide yourself, and you have to be with somebody who is accepting of what you're deciding.
So
Talk
to
to
me,
each other.
to me, what's going on here is he is micromanaging her life, and she's reacting by pushing all his buttons. This is toxic.
That's a huge leap of faith to
That's
make.
what I think is
that
happening.
He's a micromanager of her life. I'm just
answered it.
I'm
He
just trying
knows
to
200. He recognizes.
just hear me
He
out.
knows
for a
it.
second.
He knows the number.
I'm not saying that this is again like remember we had the question last week. You're like, don't get in this guy's car, and I'm not saying he is safe. I'm not saying he's not micromanaging her in this case. All I'm saying is. All we can say for sure is that he's aware of her Instagram followers. And the conversation may have gone something like, you need to delete all of them. I looked through all of them. Or it may have gone something like, hey, it would make me a lot more comfortable if you got rid of some of these guys. And she said, yeah, take a look. Yeah, I'm not saying that's how it went. I'm just saying we have
It
to
didn't go that
give
way,
them the
Ryan.
respect that we don't know how it went.
But now that-
Right, but what I
now that she
think is
cheated-
happening is that they're both really trying to enrage the other person because that's how they measure
That
love.
still doesn't give her the right to cheat on him, though. Because
Of course not.
As
Of
soon
course
as,
not.
as
But
soon
as
as
soon
she cheated on him, like
But
that,
if they weren't sort of like engaged in this battle and getting something out of it, he would have walked away the moment she cheated on him because that would have been a deal breaker for him.
Well, no, but I think when someone cheats on you, it's not so simple as you go, all right, peace out.
Yeah, you're never gonna get the trust
relationships are
back.
complex. If you really care about someone, I mean, they could do a lot of things before you realistically
And-
walked away.
But if you
yeah.
don't have,
Oh,
if
yeah.
trust is lost and trust is never regained, then what are you doing still together? This is scorched earth. It's not healthy.
Oh, it's not smart. No, that
Yeah.
I think that's the consensus for sure.
Ryan,
That-
read
that-
the next question, please.
All right. I'm a white girl.
You're so pretty.
I'm a white girl with a black boyfriend, but the problem is my dad is racist. He claims he's not, but he always makes racist remarks. I'm under 18, so I feel like I have to break up with my boyfriend, even though I love him. He wants to meet my dad, and I keep making excuses. What should I do? You got to tell your boyfriend at first. That's what you got to do, in my opinion. You at least be clear with what the situation is. Don't make excuses. Don't lie. From there on out, I don't have the best advice. I don't have much experience, but I definitely think being clear with the situation at least is the best way to go.
yeah, tell your boyfriend and tell your dad, like, yo, I'm
Yeah.
dating a black guy. Like, is that okay with you? Like, make sure he's not gonna like.
It's not going to be okay with him.
Well, he says he's not a racist.
He
He
said
says
he
he's
cla-
not.
he
He
claims he's
claims
not
he's not.
racist.
So he might say it's okay.
He might
Just
be like, oh yeah,
to
if you love
maintain
the
that
guy and he
image.
loves you and treats you
But
well,
that's
then
I don't know
That's
if
an
I would
odd
do
comment.
that. I don't.
It's
know,
really
like, not-
that's really tricky. Like
I don't know
like
if I would.
I'm not a big fan of secret boyfriends, but when parents say racist things, like sometimes they're on a need to know basis. As long as you're using good judgment, he's a great guy. Because it's like if you say to your dad, "Hey, I'm dating this guy," and he says, I refuse to let you see him again," then so it's like be really careful. But like to be dating somebody of a different race, creed, or color, or what have you, and not expect that he
Yeah.
expects that there could be problems parentally on either side. Like that's just like a lot of black families don't want their kids dating any white people. So it's like it goes both ways. So it won't surprise
Similar
him.
situation though, just
Huh?
because of larger structures of power.
No, I know for sure. But,
But
like
within a family
it won't
dynamic, it's the
it
same.
won't surprise your boyfriend to hear that my dad might not be down with this. Like that. So don't make excuses. Don't lie. Just be like. I understand what you're saying. But yeah, you guys, what do you think?
Okay, so I understand gender and race are very different. But I was dating somebody for a while and
Closer to the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was dating somebody for a while, and her stepdad was a little bit homophobic, and so at first, she was just honest with him. She was like, "Hey, I'm dating this guy. He's transgender. Like, be aware of that, And I was super lucky in the fact that like it went positively. He, referred to me by my new name, gave me all the right pronouns. So that's like a positive thing that happens with communication. But again, very different circumstances.
And are you over 18?
Yeah. Well,
'Cause
when
it's
this
like-
happened, I was I was 16.
Oh, okay. So yeah, because I mean, there's just more freedom in
Yeah.
making your own choices
Yeah.
when
I
you're
would-
not living under the same roof as your parents. Like, any other thoughts here?
No, I was gonna say it's kind of like when we talk about when like coming out or being gay, and like there's that moment of like, is it gonna be okay? Is it not gonna be okay? And you just have to be careful when you're under 18 and you're still living under your parents' roof, because you don't want to get into a situation where you can't be with somebody that you love, and like that is not okay.
You also want to make sure of your own safety. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't want to get kicked out because of this. You
That's
don't wanna
exactly
get
what I mean. Yeah.
You don't want to
Yeah.
go through abuse or anything like that.
Yeah, be wary of that.
I personally had an experience that was very similar to this.
Okay.
And actually, the girl did not let me come over to her house for fear that something would happen between like me and her father, because she said that her dad was racist. And pretty much we kept our relationship outside of their house. But I think that a big part of that whole situation comes down to like how you're talking to your parent about the person that you're dating, and trying to explain to them that both your affection for the person and who this person is. And like Marcus said, it's important not to have yourself in an uncomfortable situation where you feel like you're going to get kicked out, or you feel like you're choosing one person over your own family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're under 18, it's important to like respect your parents still, because you want to have a bed to go to at night.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And
I do feel like long term, like as you grow past 18 and beyond, like children start teaching their parents. So if you have parents who are homophobic or racist or whatever, and like you fall in love and you bring someone into the family, they will start to see, most likely they will start to see someone differently through your eyes. And we're all evolving. We're here to grow and learn from one another.
Yeah, that was actually what I was gonna say, was that it can be an opportunity for you to gently educate your family about the situation, because I think that it's an obligation of you as a white person to kind of step into these conversations and provide a different perspective. And so, good opportunity.
Something again slightly related, but this is not about race. But I have a coworker who was telling me a story 2 days ago, and he was visiting his partner's mother in Wyoming, in a very small town that's very conservative, and they were going out to a rodeo, and this is the first time he had been up in that area. And his mother was like trying to say, like, like when we go out, like people aren't gonna like the fact that you guys are a couple. Like, how should I refer to you guys? Like, I don't have a problem with it, but there are people who aren't gonna like it. They got out there. They just described themselves as friends, but people caught on. And then this guy's a comedian, and he ended up just kind of doing like a one-man stand-up show at this rodeo. It just kind of ended up going that way. And people call him all the time and ask ask when he's coming back. And this is his and the people's wives have like told him, like, my husband was so homophobic before he met you, and then he put a person to an idea.
Wow.
And changed his mind entirely. So I think that's an optimistic perspective that could happen with your family, but potentially all they need is a person, a real person to put to a concept.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, I
in
think
addition to that,
that's what you're saying about saying, be mindful of how you're speaking about people.
Yeah, because oftentimes when people have a prejudice, they don't put like an actual person to the idea. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They have a preconceived notion about the stereotypes that are placed on this kind of person.
Yeah, I think people that live in bigger cities have the opportunity and the privilege of getting to know all different types of people, and people who live in smaller towns, like they're not really presented with those opportunities. And people who grow up in those small towns and who are a little bit different, they leave so that they can find a new family and make their own family. And so as a result, small towns have stayed kind of backwards, if you will, in terms of their thinking. And so, we're here, shows like this and poetry like what you guys do is we're just here to teach each other. And so I think it's good to be patient, but also in the case of this specific relationship, safety first. And so as you guys were saying, like, let's get you past 18 and let's keep everybody safe, and then we'll take it from there. Tara, would you read the next question? I think it's at the bottom of the last page.
It's the best friends.
No, we switched up the order a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Insisted.
I'm a 17-year-old girl. Stop.
It's totally believable.
You have to get into character for that one. I love that.
You do.
Yes, I do. And I can totally look like a 17-year-old girl right now. I'm wearing Brandy Melville. That's what every 17-year-old girl wears. Anyways, I'm a 17-year-old girl. This guy told me that my flaw is that I'm too innocent because I've never had a boyfriend or kissed a guy. I stress that guys in college won't like me for the same reason. How can I get over this? Oh, honey, they are going to love you for that reason.
Find me a college guy who cares whether or not you've ever been kissed.
No, okay, no, but like, can I tell you? But like, some guys love the innocence, and like that is just like a thing because they don't want a hoe. They want this innocent girl that they can do whatever they want.
But also, it doesn't matter.
Excuse me?
Well, no, but
they don't get to unless both people are down.
But more importantly, it doesn't matter.
Well, okay,
but you
yes,
should,
Jilly.
Yes. You don't want a guy who wants you for like.
As a college guy, can I
Yeah, but I'm just a little concerned with that answer.
No,
That
no,
freaks me out
because
a little
she's
bit.
No. What I am answering is the fact
Safety
that
first.
she's like, how? No, stop. Oh my God. I'm answering it in the sense of you don't think guys are going to like you for that reason. Like, what should you do? Should you change anything? Don't change a thing. People will like you for you, especially if like that's one of them. That's just all I'm saying. Don't go for those types of guys, but they are going to be interested in you. Does that help you, Jilly, a bit? What, Ryan?
College boy.
I'm just saying, I identify as a college guy, so I think that I am fit to answer this question, at least partially.
Okay, are you going to be attracted to this little lovely
So
young
it doesn't.
woman?
I don't know her, so I don't know. But
You're not going to be
Good
attracted to her
answer.
because, yeah,
so
exactly.
the point is, though, I think that there's a few different things we're addressing here. You don't think guys will like you because you don't have any sexual experience, but those two things don't generally have to go hand in hand. I think that if there's a reason, if you're not interested in doing that, if you just haven't felt like you're comfortable with the right person yet, you can definitely find guys who are going to want to go slow if that's the reason you want or haven't done anything yet. And if the reason is just because you haven't had the opportunity, I think that as far as guys in college are concerned, the truth of it is a lot of them are just trying to get laid. If you're cool with that, which is what Tara was saying was like a potential situation,
Hey,
then
I did not say that exactly.
then it's not a big deal. Like if you're cool with it, they're cool with it. Most people aren't that
I
uptight
think
about
most
it.
girls are looking for love.
I'm
and
just
not-
saying if I said
So
if.
I do want to say, well, you know,
I think you'd be surprised.
I don't
Wheezy.
know if most, but a lot of girls are looking. I'll let Hannah.
I
I'll
think
throw
you'd
to
be
Hannah.
surprised.
After I make this point, I will throw to Hannah, who's in an open relationship, and because I am very interested in how everybody feels safe and secure within that. Because I'm
With
like,
commitment and love.
with commitment and love. Okay,
Whoa.
but what I want to say
Potent,
before I
poet.
throw to her is that I really feel like there's a lot of girl shaming regarding girls that have gone too far or
It's
girls
so
that haven't gone
true.
far enough, and I don't think guys care
Fine line.
anywhere near as much as girls seem to about that
Yeah.
sort of
The
thing.
only thing a guy would care
Sorry.
about
Alright,
is
no,
just
my point was very similar to yours, which
Okay.
is woman to woman. Is this where I'm looking? Is this where you're living?
Let me make this point.
You can't win.
What?
Yeah.
They will hate you for having too much sex. They will hate you for not having enough
no,
sex.
absolutely
They
not.
will,
No.
there will be guys.
Girls,
There
girls.
will be
Oh,
will be
girls
guys.
or guys?
There will be guys. There will be people. There will be people who hate you for whatever your sexual choices are.
Okay.
There will be people who hate you for whatever your athletic choices are.
Okay,
like
yeah,
anything
fair.
in this
Yeah,
world.
people hate you.
You cannot win. Particularly with this subject, I have poems about it.
Wow. Okay. She's got poems. It's serious.
I got poems on poems.
I
I've
want to
got
be like
one poem
totally
about
like.
this.
Oh,
Yeah,
go
be,
for it.
no,
I just want to be like totally candid about
Yeah,
like
be
let's
totally
take a look in
candid.
the mind of a college guy. If he got laid, it was a good night. Like I'm just being honest. If you're worried that you're not gonna have enough experience to like to make a guy happy, like I'm not gonna
But
speak
you're
for
not
every
in
college
college
guy.
to get a guy laid.
No,
like,
no.
you're-
If that's what you're interested.
How about getting
no,
to
she's
know
saying
people?
I'm worried that guys won't like me.
as
But
friends?
that, like,
No, I
guys
think
will
she
like.
was
No,
like a
she's talking about
boyfriend.
relationships.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
but like
she's
a
worried
relationship
about
doesn't
a-
necessarily mean getting laid.
Well,
like,
well, then there's no problem. Because if it's not about getting laid, then your experience in having sex
No,
doesn't
but there's
matter.
a lot of insecurities with girls who, because you get to a certain point, I think girls worry that like if you haven't ever kissed a guy, but when you like to a certain point and you don't have enough like experience, that you get put into like a box of like that's kind of weird. I wonder why.
right? No,
I mean, it
I
is
hear
valid, but
that.
it's a valid question, right? Why?
What?
I'm curious why, but that doesn't mean it's not a good reason.
Exactly. You're curious why.
It's reasonable.
I just
Point exactly.
I,
You're curious why.
But there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
You can. She
It's not
can
gonna
answer the
affect my-
question. I haven't met the right guy yet. I haven't felt ready.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, Tara.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah, yeah,
curious.
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
judging.
KatieMichal is on the Instagram. Give it up for KatieMichal on the Instagram. She's literally sitting on the floor. Hashtag sitting on the floor. Hashtag. All right, Tara.
just to try and wrap it up just a bit, like as cliche as it sounds, like you can worry all you want, but you just have to like understand that everything is going to be good. You will find that person. It just may not be right now. So the fact that you're getting worried, oh, am I going to? We all think like that. I was just thinking about that last week and I'm like, I'm 21 and I've only been single for 2 months and I'm already thinking, am I going to find someone to love me for the rest of my life? Like, no, Tara, snap out of it. You're going to. It's just not going to happen right now. Chill out. Like, that's what you, but I'm serious. Like, I literally tell myself that every day. Like, don't be a girl. Like that stereotype girl thing. Not being like hatred.
Yeah.
But no, like stop. Like train your brain to be differently, to be happy with who you are. Yes.
As a college guy.
As another college guy.
As another
over
college
here.
guy. No, this is on the same topic, obviously, but this idea that you're going to get to college and college is going to be one of the most stressful things you've ever done, and you're kind of going to forget about that. I'm not saying that, I'm not like knocking your insecurity, but you're really going to, your stress is going to be with your classes, your stress is going to be with your friends more so than like with guys. So I hope
know.
It could be. It could be. It'll at least be one more thing to worry about.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is I think everybody goes into college being anxious. So I don't want to say like don't be anxious about that because like that's a terrible statement to make. But it's true. You know, like don't even sweat. Yeah, like don't worry about it. It's going back to what Hannah said, there are people who are going to love you for what you do, there are people who are going to hate you for what you do. You're going to find the person.
You can't please them all.
You can't please them all.
At the end of the day, you just want someone to like respect you and not fetishize you for your innocence.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Just do you, homegirl. Like, be yourself.
Yeah, because
Be
what
yourself.
you know, like, kind of what I'm reading into this is like everyone's sort of like jumping immediately to sex, and I'm just saying like when you have sex is up to you, and nobody's going to judge you because most of the people that you know in life will never ever see you naked, and those are all really valid relationships that you will have. So just kind of move forward. Like when you decide to be intimate with somebody, that's up to you. And that person, if it's Ryan, can ask you, can you tell me why? And you'll tell him. But like you will have all kinds of really quality relationships with people who won't ever ask you whether or not you're a virgin. Yeah. It's like it's a personal thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And like Marcus said, you're not at all obligated to answer if someone asks you. But my final statement about it is that you have intrinsic value completely outside of what your sexual choices are.
Yeah. Snap, snap, snap.
Yes.
And that's what matters, and that's what will matter in your relationship.
Let's go.
But I can remember being this age, and because I was 17 when I went to college, and I just remember this girl was just like harassing me about whether or not I was a virgin, and then she started running up and down the hallway of the door yelling that I was a virgin. And it's like
that's weird.
And I remember thinking,
Yeah.
so this
That's
is going to be a
weird.
deal here. This is going to be a deal here, and then it turned out to be not a deal at all. So, but first day of college is terrifying.
I just want to go back to the start of my freshman year and have some girl go running up and down the hallway just yelling that some other girl is a virgin, just to have that experience. Because what even was happening? Right?
That is the freak.
Like who? Like you don't know anyone.
That
You're
girl is
making
the
a name
virgin.
for yourself as like the virgin exposer. Like that's
all right, we have time for one more question. The virgin exposer. What?
What's the next
Oh, we have a 2-person poem that we're going to close with.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, that's
Thank
right.
yeah. Screw you, Sean.
Well, damn.
Are you guys ready to
I
do
thought we were
this?
friends.
We're always ready.
All right, let's do this.
You
Let's
too?
do this.
Or
Poetry
all-
corner.
Everyone's against
We're
you
getting
right
to the
now.
poetry corner.
Business first.
No, it's okay, Ryan. I hate you too.
Damn. I didn't even say screw. I did say screw you, but I didn't say any more than that.
Right, move over, Jilly.
How is that not hurtful?
It was just what Wheezy was effectively saying. I was
Yeah.
making it clear. Can we get
She
this
goes,
dog off of
yeah. But just punty.
I know. I'm going.
All right.
I'm just gonna zoom.
All right, who wants to tell us a little bit about this piece?
This is a fun piece.
All right.
This is my favorite one to do, guys. Yeah, no, so we were actually commissioned to do this piece for Matthew McConaughey's JKL organization, Just Keep
Living.
Just
Wow.
Keep Living, which is like a very Matthew McConaughey statement.
For sure, like with a little
Right
bongo
along.
riff at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And so what they do at their organization is every month they have a theme, and the theme for our month that we were commissioned for was gratitude. And so we tried to think a little bit outside the box in regards to gratitude, because every single person goes, "Oh, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for food." It's like, okay, but like there's so much.
Like specifically cheeseburgers, right? That's
Yeah, it's about specifics. That's poetry. Specific sensory detail. You got it.
Oh wow! Oh, we're getting a poetry class. I love this. All right, you guys, take it. Take the floor.
Fact: there are more cells in your body than there are stars in the galaxy.
Seriously? So I'm like a walking universe who didn't want to get out of bed today? Is this what being God is?
You're telling me all these worlds within me are completely unsupervised. I am God. You are God. What are we supposed to do here?
This is really overwhelming.
We are all made up of the things that awe us. We always have been.
Fact, there are enough blood vessels in your body to wrap around the earth 2.5 times.
We're all inhabiting a giant rubber band ball made of everyone's innards.
All of our insides are all tangled up together like old headphones in a kitchen drawer.
So if you're wrapped around your bathroom floor or your bedroom ceiling,
Or the loss and loss and loss, remember you can stretch stretch as far as you need to. You are larger than you will ever know. Fact. Most of the dust you inhale at the train station is made up of other people's dead skin cells.
So take a deep breath and smile at a stranger, because there are little piles of everyone you meet collecting in your lungs,
lining your entrails with a scaly mural of interconnectivity.
So when your skin feels too tight,
relax. The morning will be the birth of who you want to be. Fact.
There is enough iron in your body to make a metal nail 3 inches long.
And that might not be a sword,
but it can puncture paper-thin lungs of a bad grade.
Pierce the heart of an overpriced frozen hot pocket. Pry open the ribs of the days when getting out of bed is your biggest accomplishment.
Or the days when you are too scared to speak.
Fact. Your jaw is the strongest muscle in your body.
Use it to carve a path for your thoughts through the iron shell of your body.
The only thing you are given is you. So let's sing to ourselves,
to our gunky entrails,
to our skin flake smiles,
our Velcro voices ripping from the plains of our chests,
and be thankful for our gnashing jaws grinding down at the hard tendon of a bad day.
A miracle of the flesh.
Through all the messy rules of this universe.
Through every ancestor they tried to kill.
Through eons of this fickle planet, you get to be you. So to whatever strange god we live in, thank you.
Wow! That was so joyful watching you perform that. I absolutely adored it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Get lit, and we will see you next week
Stay
on
lit.
Journals Out Loud. Stay lit, everybody.
Exit music. Exit.
Luna, get the
Exit the music.
Zoom in and out. Wow.
Dun, 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 dun.